and just let it run.
Yeah, I will do. I will do, definitely. No, I'm just saying so that we know where we're starting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, Brian, what do you call yourself in the sense of what is your ideal?
Well, what I'm all about is achieving my highest possibility as an individual and sharing that with my fellow human beings, brothers and sisters in this world. So I'm about the highest possibility, the ultimate possibility for myself and for our culture.
And you talked something about this vision that you think that you've had for us, or that you can see that we can be, sort of thing, and that's all related to that, is it?
Yeah, I feel like there are many ways we can exist on this earth, and there's no guarantee that any one of them is like we have civilization and we have democracy, or we have an attempt at democracy. But it doesn't have to be that way. I mean, life can occur in many ways, and the way we human beings occur can be in any way too. We could be killing each other, or we could be in harmony, loving each other. And I've noticed, if I look back over time, that there's war and peace, and after every war there's peace. You know, sooner or later we get tired of it, and we sit down together and we sign a peace agreement. We just did it here in this house.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, if we know that inevitably there's going to be peace after every war, why don't we just skip the war bit?
Because nobody likes it.
Because nobody likes it. No one. So, you know, I feel like we have the possibility of living together and in an enjoyable and productive way with each other. We can form our economy around celebration and enjoyment and recreation rather than bombs and blowing things up in order to get the economy moving. We can just create bigger and better music machines and still keep the economy moving.
And along those lines, I mean, I think the key word that came out from them speaking was unity, wasn't it? I mean,
there's no separation. There's no separation between any one of us or any living creature or even any inanimate, because the energy that inflates this whole reality, you know, the energy that comes from the same place, that makes my cells divide, you know, that fills my heart with enough energy to pump blood around my body, you know, that makes the sun shine. It all comes from the same place. It's the unity within everything.
And that's, you think, what we need to realise and achieve as a world, or as a country, or as a community, or as anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's a reality that it would benefit us all to wake up to. I mean, it's reality whether we like it or not. You know, that is reality. Yeah.
When we spoke, you talked about it kind of being this idea being beyond religion and even perhaps beyond spirituality to an extent. Can you just talk me through that again? This idea of the unity and of the peaceful living, and that, like you say, it's a reality.
Well, you know, it's all a bunch of words: unity, reality, God, you know, and all the different manifestations that people have in their heads about what God's all about. But at the end of the day, it's all just a whole other bunch of words. Whereas reality is an experience is so full on an experience of being here now, in this moment of my life, that there isn't anything outside of it to evaluate it. You know, I don't have any words that I can possibly describe. I can come up with books and books and books and books and books and books to attempt to describe an experience or to describe reality, but they'll all fall short. I can come up with books and books and books to describe the taste of sugar, but they'll all fall short. The only way you can ever know what sugar tastes like is to taste it and experience it. And I think that reality is like that too. You either experience it or you talk about it.
And along with many, many other things that you mentioned, things like religion and consumerism and things like that, are a distraction, and it's getting beyond all that, isn't it, to get to where we would all benefit.
Yeah, I think it's a question of looking within rather than looking outside for satisfaction and for understanding. You know, education is to bring out what is within, right? Not to push a bunch of ideas into somebody, but to bring out that is inside, and the peace is not found outside. You know, we can sign peace agreements all day, but if we're not experiencing peace in our heart, those peace agreements won't hold any longer than it takes the ink to dry, right? And the same with happiness. You can go out and get your Rolls Royce, you can go out and get your best stereo or whatever and ever, but tomorrow it's going to be second hand. So where's the happiness if it's attached to that? You know, it's constant. It's a constant thirst. And that can only be quenched by looking inside and experiencing the true reality that's at the core of each of us.
And just sort of recap all those sorts of things. You did say to me that they are kind of a distraction to the realization that you've had and that other people would benefit from having. You know, to get beyond all of those things, and including religion and those sorts of things that often cause. Or relate to the causes of the problems. It's to get beyond all those things, to realise, you almost get beyond all those things to get inside you, do you? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, well, you have to kind of go beyond the realm of ideas in order to get to it. You know, like I described, you know, you're driving down the road and it rains and the windshield's covered in raindrops. You know, and you can look at the raindrops, but you're going to crash the car. You know, you've got to kind of look through the raindrops and look to the furthest point where you're going in order to get there. You know, and all the world of ideas, concepts, you know, all like the raindrops, you know, distract, they just get in the way. You know, you just. But so many people will build a house on them, and you know, someone once said that religion is like a bridge. It can provide a mental structure to take you from A to B, but you know, you have to cross the bridge. You cannot build a house. You can, if you want, build a house on it, but if you do, you're not going anywhere. If you're going to use ideas, and we do live in a world of ideas, we've got to use them in order to get to where we need to go, and not build a house on the ideas and say that's reality. They're not. There's not one idea in the world that is real, that has any integrity as in reality, really.
It's the experience of the reality that we need. Is that the only thing that gives it the integrity?
Yeah, it's like walking off the edge of a cliff and just let go.
Don't know until you do it.
You don't know until you do it. Yeah, and understand that in an infinite universe, and that's truly what we're in. You know, we have these finite lives, but we live in an infinite universe with no beginning, no end. It goes on forever in that direction, and it goes on forever within also. The tiniest little particle inside the tiniest particle is just more and more and more and more, you know, and out and out and out. So we live in an infinite universe, and we're all going to die, and it's no big deal because we all die successfully, whether we like it or not. You know what I mean? So in an infinite universe, there is nowhere to fall. It's like the different, and knowing that, there's a difference between jumping out of a plane with a parachute and enjoying the free fall and doing whatever you do, you know, and then putting the parachute when you're ready because you know you're going to be okay, and falling out of a plane with no parachute, and you're not going to enjoy those first 10 or 20 seconds the way they do when they've got parachutes. You're going to scream all the way down. You know what I mean? And the difference between living in an infinite universe is knowing that you have a parachute, and therefore you can enjoy the ride because you know you're going to be okay. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Excuse me.
Is this coming out okay?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's brilliant. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, none of this will be used. Even if it comes down, it's really just, as I said, for Sophie and Craig are the other two members of the team. I think it will be Sophie coming down to film with you if things do progress, and it's just really for her to have. It gives her a good feel of who you are and what you're talking about and what your ideas are. And if I could get a couple of shots around, it'll give her the physical idea of how she might film in here, and it just makes it much more pleasant. You know, on the day she's not trying to work those things out, and it can be much more relaxed as
She'll pretty much know me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you know, she won't just turn up, you know, without having spoken to you either. She may even come down and see you herself, but she'll certainly speak to you if you go ahead. In light of the stuff we've been talking about, that I think, you know, you'll sort of try and give people this opportunity to realise about the existing now sort of thing, the living and experiencing life, don't you? And I'm just particularly interested if you can talk me through the pyramid, the magic carpet, and the chalk,
okay.
Which and where you might do them, and just, you know.
Okay. Well, they're all kind of devices in a way, playful devices that have just kind of developed in my life as I've kind of gone through, and like I'm involved with Stonehenge, and I get involved in things that I think are going to make a big difference, both in my life, and if I'm going to invest energy into helping make them happen, then they have to make a big difference or from my perception, a big difference in the world, culture, and in the individuals who get involved. And the reason I've gotten so involved with the Stonehenge solstice celebration is because on that night 25,000 people come together, and all the rules go by the wayside. I mean, within reason. People don't kill each other. That's not allowed. But but you know, generally people are left to get it out, to celebrate, to be crazy, to be weird, to be wonderful, to just totally self-express. And out of that self-expression, it's like I dance. I love to dance, and one of the valuable parts of I mean, I just do wild, crazy dancing. One of the value of that for me is that, apart from just the sheer ecstasy of it, is the fact that whoever I think I am, when I just shake it off, and I'm a new person every moment. Because you know, it's like candle wax, you know, it just kind of hardens around us, and all of a sudden we're like these funny cartoon shapes, and it gets harder as we get older, and we just get weirder and weirder stuff. But you know, if you shake it up all the time, we're just growing and growing and growing like a flame. You know, new person, new person, new person, over and over and over again. I mean, I've lived so many lifetimes in one lifetime, compared with a lot of people who just live one lifetime in one lifetime. And so, from Stonehenge, you know, and from being involved in the underground party scene, I developed these devices for self-expression, free-fall self-expression. Where the magic carpet ride is an organism, a band, a music project, and the defining statements are: there's no such thing as a wrong note, there's no such thing as being out of time, there is no disharmony. It doesn't have to make any sense. We never plan what we're going to do, and whoever is there is in the band. There's no audience. It's just doing it. You know, some people love it, some people hate it. There are places that I cannot go back to because they say that it's so chaotic they can't stand it, and there are other people who just beg me to bring it. And it's very interesting to watch the whole process. It's like I mean, it can be total chaos, and it goes from chaos to order. It's like a sine wave. It goes chaos to order. And I think what happens is that there is the experimentation. There is, and then there's it starts to kind of what's the word? Coagulate. Is that the word? Coagulate into something. You know, and then all of a sudden the spirit of the freshness, the freedom, the spirit of it breaks it open again into total chaos again. You know, so it's very interesting to watch that whole thing. So that's the magic carpet ride, and I basically create a space. We usually go all night, create a space and decorate it, make it beautiful, lighting and stuff, and provide as many musical instruments as I can. And I've got a whole bunch of electronic instruments, keyboards, percussion, microphones.
And do people improvise with instruments as well? With non-real musical instruments?
Just saucepans, and anything. Basically, it's just a place to let it go. To let it go, and to experiment with singing through a microphone, which some people never done before, or you know, play a keyboard, which some people have never done before. And it's wild to watch. And I did it because I always wanted to play in a band, really, and I couldn't play music, so I had to create a band where it didn't matter whether you play music or not.
I would say I'd be good in your band as well, I think.
So that's kind of how that one came about. And then growing from that came the Pyramid of Infinite Possibility, and it all came as a. My life is kind of it unfolds in front of me, and it came one time when I was travelling through the summer doing the festival circuit in my bus out there.
Yeah.
And when I got my bus, I always wanted poles on the roof, just for the aesthetics of it, because I used to love seeing these Mercedes buses with the poles on the roof. I just thought it was so cool, right?
Yeah.
They're not there right now.
No.
So anyway, I got this job just before I left to go on the road that actually gave me the juice, the money I needed to get on the road. And this job was cutting these trees down. And I was cutting them with my skill saw because I didn't have a chainsaw.
Right.
And it's like my skill saw broke down by the last tree.
Yeah.
It was so exhausting. There's like 10 of these really long branches to saw off, and it was like soaring away. And I got down on the ground, and I realised, because all the others were in bits, I realised poles.
Brilliant.
So I took the poles, put them on the bus, and drove off to the festival with my poles. And it was great. I had, it was just like my little dream come true.
Yeah.
Silly, I know. And then I went from one festival, and as I went out, at the big green gathering it was, there were a whole bunch of blocks of wood like that size. They were on the ground underneath the bus, I think you can see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And they were sitting there at the side, someone had thrown them away. So I picked them up and threw them in the bus. I got to the next festival, and I didn't have a ticket, and as I pulled up, one of my friends was pulling away. He said, "Oh, the guy's not letting anybody in, not even with tickets, never mind not having tickets." So I go, "Oh dear, what am I going to do?" So I drove my bus across the field to the entrance, and the guy came up, looked like he came up for the umpteenth time that day to say you can't come in, right? And it was raining, he was wet and pissed off, and I looked at him, I knew I had 10 seconds, right, to make my pitch. I said, "Well, I've got this pyramid of infinite possibility, And he looked at me and he says, "Okay, come in."
Was it just off the cuff?
Off the cuff, totally. And so I went in, and then I had to do it, right? So I took out these poles off the roof and made a pyramid. I took up my blocks of wood and built a little structure in it, and I got all these kind of creative materials and candles, and I just made this beautiful creative space, which then grew to become the Pyramid of Infinite Possibility, which I now take into clubs and parties and festivals, and it's grown to encompass the elements of past, present, future. The past is represented by writing something on a piece of paper, or an object, maybe usually writing something on a piece of paper that represents the past, your past, personal past, a metaphor, and burning it on a candle flame in recognition that the past truly has gone, whether we like it or not. The present is represented by how you play within the pyramid. Because usually I make a big circle of huge 12-foot diameter circle of paper, paints and crayons and Celtic pens and plasticine and wooden blocks, and that's how you play. And the future is represented by ideas, hopes, dreams, aspirations written on a piece of paper, or something that's created in the pyramid and hung on the pyramid as an expression of the future possibility. That's the Pyramid of Infinite Possibility.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And again, it's a mechanism to allow people to live in the moment that they're in, which is obviously the present in there, and obviously to get rid of the things that really kind of distract us. I think that's an important word, isn't it, really? We need to avoid the distractions of things that don't really hold that much significance.
Yeah, and it's the grown up, like I say, take off your grown up clothes and immerse yourself in the hot tub of infinite possibility.
There's loads of, on your site, there's loads of fantastic catchphrases, really, or little anecdotes or slogans, which, I mean, are they all yours? Do you?
Yeah, pretty much. If we don't create our future, our past will create it for us. Was my housemate in America.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And the chalk. I mean, you do these things obviously at festivals and parties and things. Is the chalk just done then as well, or do you do that sometimes? Just maybe around, how you said you do the henna tattoos, which you better said actually, because obviously the camera won't know this. But you do the henna tattoos on the beach, sort of just randomly, and that you just do whatever. But is the chalk thing something similar? Might you do that down near the beach?
Sometimes, yeah. But the chalk has tended to be a something that I take to a gathering. peace demonstrations, David Blaine, wherever there's a lot of people. And Chalk for Peace is the campaign.
Right.
Basically, is get your feelings out, get your thoughts out, get your images out on the pavement. Chalk it's fine. It washes away. The police don't mind it. You know. And someone called the police actually on us once when we did it in Earl's Court. We did a exhibition in Earl's Court, and we shot for 3 days on the streets outside, on Old Brighton Road. And someone called the police. This guy was on the ground and he was chalking when the police came up. And one of the coppers said, "Hey up, mate, you spelled anarchy wrong." Which is kind of a great statement to me of how the police feel about it.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful way. I mean, because it's all part of leaving behind the grown-up, you know, and just being the child, and getting down on your knees. And I've watched people, young and old, you know, people you'd never dream would do it, get down on their knees and just do peace or do a heart, you know, just something. And the beauty of the chalk is also it stays for a week. You know, so we've had Trafalgar Square chalked completely, psychedelicized on several occasions. And even after the demonstration's gone, people who would never dream of going to a demonstration get to walk around and see all of this stuff, from the beautiful to the flat bush. You know what I mean? That all is self-expression, and it's quite wonderful.
And again, it's like the other mechanisms. It's just getting out your feelings and doing something in that moment again.
Yeah, and it's really important. It's important for the sanity of the culture for people to have a place to do that. Like Party for Peace, it's the same thing. It's like it's very important. If you don't, you get what we're getting now in London. You get young people that are angry, frustrated, blindly. And we get it in the peace movement too, with the black, what do they call themselves? The black hoods going around smashing up cars and windows. And it's just frustration because people are not getting it out. It's really important to get it out. You know.
To allow yourself to grow, basically.
Yeah.
And tell me, just to recap, because you do the henna tattoos on the beach, and you said to me that you do them randomly.
When I first started doing it, I started doing it as a survival mechanism, as everything really. And I used to try. I got these pictures edited on the computer, and I had my book, and I tried to get it just right. And people say, "Well, it doesn't look like that." I'm going, "Well, I'm sorry," and you know, and it's like, "Well, that's not worth £5," you know, all that kind of stuff. And I thought, "Fuck this! I'm not going to do it this way anymore." You know. So now the way I do it is, if people say, "Can you do this?" and I say, "No," and I say, you know, I'll just breathe in your aura, and I'll breathe out a tattoo, and you can give me whatever you want.
The way you say that, is it a bit of do you say that tongue in cheek, or do you believe that you're doing that?
Well, it's both, really.
Okay.
It becomes a bit of a line, but at the same time, that is reality.
Right.
Because when you enter someone's body space, you know, it's like you do enter. You know, our body is bigger. The body stretches out further.
Yeah, with the energy.
You can feel when someone's close to you, right? Always. You know, and when you're tattooing someone, it's very personal. You know, I had this one girl one time, a French girl, totally gorgeous on the beach, and she wasn't wearing a top, and I ran up across her. I thought, "Oh my God, I got to walk the other way. I can't handle this," right? But in a way, I couldn't. I had to just carry on walking, right? Because it really looked ridiculous. So I carried on walking. I got this quarter eye, and I said, "You know, would you like a tattoo?" And she said, "I don't know." Oh my God, now what do I do? So I stood, and we talked for a long time, and it was like just maintain a pure approach to this communication, right? Because she was so gorgeous, it was just incredibly distracting. Right? Well, we talked for a really long time, you know, and I realized I had to pay my rent. Actually, I was like, you know, got to do some tattoos, but I didn't want to be money orientated. But so I said, "Well, do you want a tattoo?" Right after about 45 minutes of delicious conversation with this woman, I had to get back to business, and she said, "Okay," French girl, and she said to me, she said, I am very, very careful about who I allow to touch my body, you know, and that really changed my whole perception about what I was doing, you know, with the tattoos. And I realized I've become a lot more sensitive to the fact that it's quite holy in a way to touch someone's body. You know, we're not in this culture. We don't have that awareness in this culture. You know, it's quite clumsy the way we interact with each other. And it really taught me that yeah, there is that. It is. I'm entering someone's very personal space. And with that consciousness, my tattoos reflect very much the interaction I'm having on that level, on that kind of telepathic or psychic level of the person. And if it's a lot of static in that, the tattoos tend to be quite jagged. And if it's really, if the connection's clean, the tattoos tend to be sometimes like this ancient language that just pours out of the end. I'm going, where the hell did that come from while I'm doing it, right? Yeah. It's quite amazing.
No, I totally agree with you. You stand there with your eyes shut, if somebody stood close to you. You can feel it, absolutely. Again, I remember on the phone, I just like that, I'd like to explain the statement on the phone. You said society's self-destructing. I know this is going a little bit back to what we spoke about at the beginning of this, but can you just explain what you meant by that? And in relation to that, how you're talking about Britain being sort of the heart chakra of the world, and that it gets copied all around, and so we need to kind of set an example, if you like, don't we? Is what you were getting at, I think.
Yeah, well, this is how I feel. I mean, I can't say that is an ultimate statement of truth.
No.
But what I feel is that England is the heart chakra of the world, that what happens here affects the whole planet very, very quickly and very directly. It's just the way that our culture has grown, and that ask me the question.
I kind of asked too. It was about the importance of our behaviour. So you with these thoughts and these ideas and these great mechanisms in the place that you believe has the most influence, kind of gives you a lot of power in a way in that respect. And you kind of obviously wanting to use that. But in addition, I was talking about that in relation to the fact that that's all necessary because of society self-destructing itself.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say self-destructing is one possibility or one possible interpretation. I mean, what's happening is the paradigm is dissolving. The paradigm, the idea of who we are and what we're about and what society is all about, capitalism, communism, all of the different isms that we use to define our current state of evolution. See, I don't believe there's any such thing as capitalism, other than it's a label that we use to describe our current state of evolution.
Right.
We're down from the trees, we're not walking upright yet. Democracy is a great idea, but we're not there yet, right? Capitalism, that particular paradigm is dissolving because it's not working anymore. It doesn't satisfy people.
Right.
As it dissolves, we're being thrown into identity crisis. I was at a pub the other night. We were all out in the art garden, just partying in the garden, and it was really sweet and beautiful. And it got to, I think it was 11 o'clock. And the guy said, "Okay, guys, you've got to get inside. You've got to get inside right now. Against the law, I'm really sorry." You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, we're all kind of like, all the little kind of delicate web of relationships and everything that had been set up outside. All of a sudden, in no time at all, we're all inside, right? And everything's changed. And all of a sudden, I felt this kind of like, who am I? What happened to this? That was happening, and this was happening. All of a sudden, it's all gone. The rug's been pulled. I got this little kind of, just for a little while, this mini kind of identity crisis. Who am I now? You know what I mean? And I think that's what's going on in society. As the paradigm dissolves, society is being thrown into this kind of identity crisis, and the fear comes up. And it's really easy for fear to get out of control and self-validate. Like putting the microphone in front of the speaker, it spins out really quickly into this critical mass situation where we get warfare, fear breeding fear, breeding fear, breeding fear, until someone jumps for the gun. And so that's what I think is taking place when I say self-destructing. I wouldn't actually. I was going to register my website for 10,000 years as a statement in my faith in the future of mankind, right? I believe that we're programmed to survive, and we will survive, and we will work this out. But we also have to understand what's going on. And what is going on, from my point of view, is we're in this fear breeding fear cycle. And each of us has to get a handle on that. When the World Trade Center thing happened, my friend called me up and he said, panic. What should we do? What can we do? What can I do? I said, the most powerful thing you can do is to meditate. and get a hold on that feeling of panic, get that quilt inside of you, and share that with everybody else. That's the most powerful thing you can do. You know, is to deal with the fear. You know, and then when that's done, I mean, fear is there to guide us. It's there to get us home safe. But it's not there to stop us having a life. You know, it's not there to destroy us.
And that meditation that you just mentioned is tell me why you meditate. It's to go beyond the beyond, isn't it? It's to go to that furthest platform.
Yeah, it's to find that place inside that is constant, to where that unity lies with all things. You know. And
you do that most days, some form of meditation.
Yeah, every day in one form or another. I don't always sit, but I'm meditating most of my day in one form or another.
Okay. And when you do sit, you sometimes, like you say, it's a variety of forms, but sometimes it will take the traditional form of the lotus.
I'll sit maybe something like this.
Triangle head.
I would say kind of. Sometimes I'll just sit, but it depends where I feel comfortable. What's important to me is that I feel balance.
Yeah.
And that depends on my mood.
A physical balance, or?
Well, all balance, really.
Okay.
Physical balance, when my body doesn't feel weighted on one side or another, where I just feel like it's kind of. And that's the only reason for it. It's not like a religious or a ritualistic thing. It's just so I can feel less distracted by being aware of my body.
Okay.
Because it's in balance.
Okay. And that's not just your idea. That's what that position's all about.
Well,
anyway, isn't it?
Probably ultimately, but I mean, there are probably many books written about it, as there are many books have written about everything as the reason why your legs here and your arms there, and this chakra and that chakra.
Yeah.
But I don't go into any of that.
Okay.
Well, you see, I just want to get to the meat of it, and the meat of it is touching that place inside.
Right.
You know, I'm not interested in all the theories of why, and you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I must admit, I love your metaphors, your analogies for all these sorts of things, and some of them come through in the website. I just obviously wrote down some stuff when I was speaking to you. The religion and the plank one, or you know, that's fantastic. Can you just explain that to me once more about that? Do you remember what you?
Well, religion, like I said before, I believe is a distraction. You know, it just gets in the way. It fills your head with a lot of huge, grand, beautiful, wonderful, complex, fantastic ideas about existence that have nothing to do with reality. Right? We can use ideas to focus on, so religion is kind of like a plank that you can walk on. You know, but at the end of it, you have to jump off the plank and leave the plank behind. Does that?
Yeah, absolutely. And that it takes us to the relationship with the universe, which is much more important.
Yeah, which is the free fall.
Yeah, which you spoke about.
It's the free fall. You know, there's only one way to experience reality, and that's to let go of what you think it is. 100%. You can't hang on to a thread of it.
And there's nothing wrong with our world at the moment. We're having a weird conversation, aren't we?
Yeah.
And that's in relation to everything that we're speaking about. That strikes a chord that a couple of times on your website and in the flyer that you
people like that.
You produced for the GA.
It strikes a chord almost with everyone that reads it, which is great for me. And what it does for me, to understand that the culture that we're living is a reflection of our personal thoughts, feelings and ideas, and our exchange of thoughts, feelings and ideas, and out of it comes our culture.
Okay.
And the boogeyman, and the war monster, and all those things that we're so afraid of, we feel like we have to do so much about, but really it's all an apparition, it's not real. It's just coming from the thought, feelings and ideas. So understanding that there's nothing wrong with the world. I mean, the world's beautiful, isn't it? Trees and flowers and lakes and, you know, stars and sunsets. It's gorgeous. There's nothing wrong with the world. But it's just the way we're perceiving it, the way we're interpreting it, the way we're filtering it through our crazy ideas.
All those things that you talk about there are the natural world, though, which is the beauty. Maybe the physical world that we've created is the thing that maybe isn't so beautiful, or we're not managing it in the right way, or whatever.
Well, that's the thing. You see, the culture is like it's like the anthill that we've created, the culture. But that's a reflection of thoughts, feelings, and ideas, the interchange of thoughts, feelings, and ideas. But understanding that there's nothing wrong with the world, and understanding that it's just that we're having a weird conversation, to me, it gives me a lot more, a feeling of a lot more power to do something about it. You know, because there isn't a war monster, really. There's just a bunch of ideas that have created this. You know, the monster doesn't really exist. It's something that we've created. And you know, and I do it here. I've done it here in this house, and I've done it here in this house this week. You know, and I'm as much part of it as anybody else. We're all responsible. You know, one of the things I say is, you know, every individual raindrop entering the ocean becomes the ocean. You know, whatever I put in affects the whole thing. And each one of us do. And one grain of sand at a certain point can tip the global balance one way or another.
And to go full circle to how we started talking, that kind of all, what was I going to say? It was, yes, sorry, that, although you, as you say, are a part of it all, and you've done it here in this house this week, you're kind of, not necessarily privileged, but because you've seen this possibility, this idea of what we can be, you're in a position to be able to try and help people to become aware of that as well, so that this war monster, or whatever it is, or if it doesn't exist, kind of disappears, it dissipates within us, and we don't, and it's gone.
Yeah, and first of all, I have to do it within my own life.
Yes.
I have to smile at my housemate rather than growl at him, right? And he might smile at his friend. You know what I mean? It's like, smiles are very infectious. I think that actually, you know, global peace can happen in a flash. It can happen quicker than bird flu. You know, because I know when I walk down the street smiling, everybody smiles back at me. You know.
And the things like the meditation and the arming and the more personal ways that you, as you just said, get into that place and realise it all in yourself, and then the pyramid and the magic carpet and the chalk are how you then help other people. Am I right in saying that? Is that kind of how it?
Yeah, it's how I play in a way that serves, that allows me to be a servant of life. You know, I mean, I could just stay at home, and you know, but I have this kind of evangelical streak in me that wants to go out and save the world. I think it has a lot to do. Well, it's hard to know exactly. Well, maybe we're just driven from the DNA to do it. And it's just like the mutant gene. It's just kind of, okay, Brian, this is your place in life. Or maybe it's just having come up from a very kind of disordered childhood, and just somehow that's programmed me to just want to straighten it out. You know, I don't know, but that's how I play in this world. That's how I, you know, serve.
It's brilliant, and the personal stuff, as you say, and that's why you do the meditation or some sort of meditation every day, to make sure that you retain that personal, so that to allow you to do all the other things.
Well, I'd say also, I mean, primarily it's for my own sanity. And my own health. You know, but the fruit of it, you know, they say total selfishness breeds total selfishness. Total selfishness breeds total selflessness.
Right.
Because if you are totally selfish about your experience of life, of fulfillment, once that is installed, that connection is installed, everything that comes out is a reflection of that fulfillment. You know what I mean? And it's like, and it's totally selfish for me to want to live in a world of peace, a world of smiling, happy people, because it feels good. It feels good to me. It feels good when I get along with my housemate. It feels good when I get on with my neighbours. It feels good when I see the kids jumping, running up and down the street. It doesn't feel good when I got a bomb going down at the shopping centre, or I'm scared to go on the tube train because I don't know what's going to happen. That doesn't feel good.
Tell me briefly, just on light of that, how your neighbour first perceived you when you arrived, and how it's just improved now.
You might want to talk to him. I haven't talked to him for 3 months. I don't know what his current...
But last time you said he was okay, was he?
Yeah, they seem to be getting friendlier and friendlier with me. I mean, the defining moment was, I came back here one night, I was so angry with him, because when we first moved in here, right, we're all musicians, we first moved in here, I didn't have the understanding of semi-detached. I just thought, we're in a house.
Right? Makes a noise.
all night long, right? And he's complaining, and then I'm going like, you know, and it's like, And I came home one night with this conversation in my head and going, you think we're the problem neighbours, mate? You're the problem neighbours. We have to think about you all the time. We can't enjoy ourselves. Parked my car, I'm up on the computer, and there's a knock on the door. It's him. He says, can you move your car? I'm going, what do you mean can I move my car? I came out of the door, walked to my car, had rolled down the hill and smashed into the side of his car. Thank God his car was there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So he's standing there, like, with his hands on his hips like this. And he's just like my dad. When my dad was going through something, I was like, oh, I'm a grown man, I just want to run away. So I went up to him and I looked him in the eye and I said, do you know what it's like to have a really bad day? He says, mate, it's been a bad day for me ever since I moved next door to this house. And this is just one more thing. So that's how it was. And I said to him, I said, you know, one day we might actually be friends. And he said, oh, yeah. But now, it's you might want to go talk to them. Just go do a candid camera, kind of like knock on the door and say, hey, I'm doing this program and I'm interested. Brian, tell us about your developing relationship. And you want to say something?
Does he work in the day?
No, they're retired.
Oh, they're retired.
Well, this guy here works for the police. I never really got to know these people. They're very nice. But two reasons. First of all, I don't like to patronise too much of the neighbours because it can be complex. It can get complex. But also, I've just been very busy. But these guys have had to come because of the sound, and we've had to really do a curfew thing here at night in order to keep the relationship good, which has caused all kinds of tensions in the house.
Right.
You know.
Who lives here? Just to recap.
My girlfriend lives here. Fiance, Carrie, who you saw.
Yeah.
Matches is up in his room. And he's kind of like, he's Italian and quite young, 26, 27, like quite punky and very annoying sometimes, very beautiful sometimes. And James.
And you own this house and rent the rooms out?
No, I'm a tenant.
So yeah, you rent.
I'm a leaseholder.
Right.
Which gives me the authority here, but causes a lot of the relationship problems because it's not always enjoyed. Hello. And then Joe used to live here with his sister, Abby, but now they live with their mother, and James sees them every now and then.
Yeah, excellent. Okay. So yeah, just a couple more things. Talking about the children. Oh, long legs on the.
Oh yeah.
Excellent. Did you know? I found out this the other day that they are the most poisonous things.
Yeah.
To us, that they can't get through the skin.
I know, that's funny, isn't it?
I never knew that. Somebody was getting mad in the office the other day. What's wrong with your daddy long legs? And they were like, yeah, but don't you know?
Yeah.
God. Anyway, the children, all the stuff we've been talking about, it is so important to get the generation growing up, isn't it? You were telling me about that. Do you want to explain that?
Yeah, in a way, I say that, it's maybe genetically driven, but, and also I'm a father.
Right.
You know, and the children are grown right now, but I want to have more, you know.
Do you think you will have more?
Yes.
How old did you say?
57.
57.
Yeah.
How many more do you want?
I don't know.
A few?
A few. Yeah. I love children. Being a father for me was my favourite role in life. I love being a father.
And it never stops, does it? You're still a father, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm a father to the world now. You know. I never had terrible twos. I didn't have terrible teenagers, you know, and I think that terrible twos is terrible parenting.
Right.
And terrible teenagers is terrible parenting, you know, because children are not terrible, they're beautiful, and they expect the best, they expect everything in fact, and that's exactly what they should be getting. They should be getting the very best that we can give them. And I don't blame them for being pissed off when they don't get it, and I don't blame them for being pissed off when they get told lies, and they get expectations put upon them that they know in their deepest of selves are not true. And that's why the teenagers are angry with their parents, and that's why teenagers are angry with society, is because they're being sold a bill of goods. You know, the work that I do is, you know, I don't expect to see the fruit of it. I get the little fruit of it, a few smiles on people's faces, and people say, oh, my life changed, you know, it's great, I love that. But on a societal global level, I don't expect to see the results in my lifetime. I take a 10,000-year view, forward and back. You know, if I look over the past 10,000 years, I say we're coming a long way. We've come a long way.
So, and you're clearly a believer in evolution. It's an evolutionary universe, isn't it?
It's obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch these characters in America and not wanting to teach evolution in schools, and I'm going, what is wrong with these people? Maybe there was a Big Bang, maybe there was a Big Bang, maybe there have been several Big Bangs in eternity. There's probably been an infinite number of Big Bangs, but then after the Big Bang it unfolds, right? So evolution and Big Bang are not sort of mutually I can't think of the word. They both make sense together.
Yeah.
You can have a Big Bang theory and evolution because one follows the other.
Yeah, absolutely.
So stupid.
Yeah.
So yes, and so what I do is for my children, so that my children don't end up fighting in some stupid war somewhere because two crazy old men fall out over some piece of dirt somewhere. You fly over the mountains, you don't see lines drawn across the landscape saying this is yours and this is mine. This is Iraq, this is Iran or whatever, that doesn't exist. It's all in our heads. So I do it for the children and all the children to come in the future. I mean, I would love to be here in 10,000 years and see where we're going because it's so exciting.
And the children relating to the animal world, like the animal world is an example, should be an example to us.
Well, definitely, at least most of it. I wouldn't say all of it because there are certain species that eat, that abandon their young, or die at birth. But I think in the mammal, and I may be wrong, I'm not scientifically clued up on this, but it seems to me, at least in the mammalian species, mammal species, that we put our young first. We're willing to die for our young. We'll throw ourselves in front of a moving car in order to save our babies, instinctively, But what's happening in our culture is that because there's something fundamentally missing, we're so much our children ourselves that we're not looking out for our children. We're not putting our children first. We're so dissatisfied and we're in arrested development. And I say we because I include myself in this equation too. We have this state of arrested development where we never actually fulfilled our own childhoods. So we're still running around like a bunch of kids as adults and ignoring the children. The house is burning, the children are asleep, trusting that we're taking care of business, and we're not.
Just before in that, and it might be a tricky one, but you said what the work that I do. Can you just sum up once more the work? What is the work that you do?
Well, the work that I do is personal awakening to reality, and sharing that with my fellow human beings.
Cool.
And it's like the statement, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can't tell anybody this is the way you're supposed to do, that's the way you're supposed to do. The only way people are driven is by their own thirst. And being in the presence of someone who is satisfied, who is happy, automatically triggers that thirst. So, my effort really is to be happy, to dance, to have fun, to sing, to play.
And if somebody gets that happiness from something that is materially based or consumer based or something like that, does that matter?
No, it's just that it's not sustainable.
Right.
It's only sustainable by continuing to feed it.
Right.
It's like the Rolls Royce is second hand tomorrow.
Right. Yeah.
The new state of the art computer is worth 25 quid. I paid $2,000 for my first computer, an 8080, right? And it was like, and then I used to dream of having a 20 megabyte hard drive. If I could only have a 20 megabyte hard drive, all my dreams would come true. I'll never fill it. Now it's 200 gigabytes, right? And it's still not big enough.
Yeah.
It's so materialistic, fulfillment through materialism. It's not bad, naughty, but it's just not sustainable.
Right. And just finally, and you make it clear as you just did to me off camera about the differences, but why the arming? You do the arming with people as a group sometimes, don't you? and you do it on your own, and what does that do for you?
It's a way of tuning in, coming to present. You know, it's this is the arm sign actually. It's here.
What is that? The symbol that represents it?
Yes, from the Hindu religion.
Okay.
This is.
And just can you do it? Just do it. What it would be, and then.
What it represents is it's A-U-M, like that, and it's a way of just being present with the breath, with an exhalation of the breath, complete breath, and it's very refreshing, and yeah, I could do it.
And what does it give you? What does it do for you?
Bring me into present moment.
Okay.
Just to be present, that's all. There's nothing mystical about it.
So how is it different from the meditation just before you do it?
Well, it's physically based, I would say is the best way to put that. Whereas a meditation it's a focus, it's an inner focus on the deepest place within me.
Okay.
You know, which I can't, you know. And it's ancient, and you know, and all of this stuff is ancient. It's nothing new. It's been there for thousands and thousands of years.
But a lot of us have forgotten.
Adonai or Jesus, Jesus is the word Jesus. It's the same thing. It's just like it's another way of that energy expressing itself verbally. You know, it's become Jesus, but it's not really. It's Jesus. I can't remember how the original expression of that was,
right,
but it turned into Jesus.
Right.
It's like, or Adonai, which is the Hebrew,
right.
In Hebrew you can't write it because you can't write the name of God.
Right.
But they've taken, it's naughty, you mustn't write it. You know what I mean? Rather than, it's just you can't write it because you can't write it. It's quite simple, you can't write it, it's too big, you can't write it. Right? And it's the same thing, it's a physical expression of an experience, of some effort, an effort to actually physically express an experience that can't be expressed in any experience.
And you said, I'm going to let you do it and think, but you said that, you know, this is ancient, and you know, in the past, from my knowledge, and I might be wrong here, but you know, whole cultures did it, everybody did it, sort of thing, and now it's not like that at all. I mean, do you hope that we get back to a time when everybody is doing it because it's so beneficial?
Well, I think that arming. I would like to see everybody meditate, truly meditating. But if everyone armed, I think we'd certainly be a long way towards that. But it's just another place to get lost.
Right.
You know, because I go with groups people who have never armed. Okay? Right. And you see people that are going, right? And they're not understanding what arm is at all. They're just saying it.
Right.
And that's not what it is, and it's really easy to get lost in thinking that's what it is. Right. It has nothing to do with the arm. It has to do with the experience that is then expressing itself.
The arm is a yeah. Okay, go on then. I'll stand back a bit with my poor camera.
Self-conscious on this one.
I'm sure.
I'm not there at all.
I appreciate that.
I'm not in the place.
No, I appreciate that. It must be hard in front of a camera. I tried to keep as quiet as I could.
If we're going to do this for real, I have to spend a bit more time getting myself.
Sure, I can appreciate it, and don't worry, I know it's. I mean, I must admit,
I do feel better.
so what is it? Is it just release something?
It's like fresh air. In a way, I can see you more clearly.
Right.
I feel like I've had a few hours sleep. It's like it's a regenerational thing, and all it is taking all of the energy that is kind of diffused out there, and it's bringing it into one place. You know.
Okay.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I mean, things I mean, when I quite often if I'm driving, I'll just do it continually for quite a long time.
Okay.
It's
With your eyes open though.
Hare Krishna, the same thing.
Right.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Another device.
Okay.
It's called a mantra.
Yeah.
Mantra means mind trap. A place to take all of this mental stuff and give it a loop.
Right.
In order that it takes it out of the equation.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like someone once said, the mind is like a genie. It'll grant you your every wish, but if you don't keep it busy, it'll devour you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the thing is, you've got to keep the genie busy. Oh, I want this, I want that, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. What about this? What about that? I've got to do that. Lift the iron on. All these different things, right?
Yeah.
But you can take that genie and say, okay, genie, I want you to climb up and down that pole, right? Up and down, up and down. So the genie's going on an infinite task, up and down, on the breath, on the mantra, whatever it is. It's on its infinite task. And you can get on and enjoy life and do your stuff. And then you want to do something, you say, genie, come over here. Can you go fix that window? All right, where's the hammer? Da-da-da-da-da. You do it all right. Genie's finished. Get back on the pole and go on and enjoy looking through the window. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So that's kind of what that kind of meditation is all about.
Right.
It's just it's a mantra, a mind trap, a place to take that and put it. Whereas a meditation that is strictly what I'm about, is what I do, is in another ballpark really. It's beyond, looking completely beyond the mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the difference between the two.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's quite clear from that description.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'll So, and I'll sort of film you and the room. So this is your living room.
Yeah, we don't have television. We have television, but we don't have broadcast television.
Okay. So it's just used for videos basically.
Yeah.
What did you say here? I was talking.
I didn't. I said that was for the broadcast TV. That was TV license. But that's true. We don't watch broadcast TV here.
Okay.
And we play music. I've got a bunch of instruments upstairs. I've got a bunch in London, but this is some of our instruments. James here. Hi, darling. And his father is a brilliant pianist, natural musician.
Right.
Beautiful. I play a little bit of piano.
I used to play a little bit of piano.
Yeah.
It's the one thing I want to pick up again.
Yeah, you can smash your copyright sometime.
I'm gonna keep an eye on your site.
Yeah.
It's there's lots of stuff on it.
Yeah.
It's never ending.
There's tons more to go up there.
I bet you there is. Yeah. So yeah, it's listening music all around, isn't it? And then should we go through the kitchen?
Absolutely, yeah.
What is it? Do you play on this, or is it for kids, strictly for kids only? Will it support?
Well, no, it supports grown-ups play on it. It's actually built for grown-ups.
Do you do anything? Oh, let me come on the other side of you. 1 second. Right. Come back. Does it help? Is it just for fun, or does it? Is it?
It's for fun.
It's for fun. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And it does look. Do you ever hang upside down?
I haven't.
I often think hang upside. I want to hang upside down so many times because I think it must release.
Yeah.
So because it's such an unusual position for us to be in. Anyway.
I stand on the head sometimes.
Oh, do you?
I do that. Yeah.
Is it get for fun, or does that for
fun?
For fun?
Well, there's nothing really. It's fun the final frontier. That's what I say. Not space the final frontier. Fun the final frontier. If we can get that one right, we'll have a beautiful world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go on, shall I follow you through to the
Sure. We haven't done the washing up. Filming the house. This is music maestro James.
And you've got 2 pianos to play on as well.
Take one of each hand.
Do you ever do duets on the 2?
Oh, this
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
James has a band called the Black Sufis.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of magic carpet ride, more organised, more, because he's a musician and I'm not.
All right.
It's sort of very random. It's just people join, people play, people leave, people come and play again, but
I
try and keep the whole thing together.
The randomness of it's great. I think.
Yeah. So he's an accomplished musician, but I say I'm a musician, but I'm not. I don't the keys and stuff. But he's actually an accomplished musician.
Right.
He's very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we have a quick look in the garden? Yeah. You're all sat out there relaxing.
All of the plants have been planted by matches. It's the roommate that's asleep right now.
Right.
Courgettes.
Sometimes coming out.
Yeah, sometimes.
I like it wild. you know, because I'm an old mountain hippie, and this is how I love it. It's not, to me, this is not untidy.
No.
But to the neighbours, it's a different story.
I can put my camera over the top, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is going to be soon travelling extensive leisure carpet ride, touring with the possibility bus. It's got a bed in it. It's got, it's quite livable. Look in it.
And which is your car?
That's my current car. My other one died. So over here.
Go on, tell me about that.
We Are the Powers That Be I created for England, because when I first came back from America to England, and I had lots of great ideas, and I said we could do this and we could do that. People said, well, they'll never let us do it, and you know what I mean? And powers that be will never let us do it. And I said, we are the powers that be. Dance the Dream Awake is a Hopi statement, Indian, North American Indian.
Right.
Dance the Dream Awake. Take it out of Dream World and bring it onto.
And you do all these, you create them all yourself?
Yeah. I've got 28 of them.
Let me go across the road and get you in front of your house.